Whoa. Well, we're back after a 3-day weekend for us anyway. And we will be taking a look at and I should have said week ahead outlook and long range. I must have been in such a hurry to put that together today that I messed it up. So that should say on the screen week ahead outlook and long range. So we'll do that. I'll fix that. And here we go on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast so easily by shopping on Amazon using our referral link that is on the descriptor to this podcast on YouTube. Just use the link to get you to Amazon. Just buy what it is you're going to buy for the holidays coming up. And Amazon will throw us some coin for sending you there. It doesn't cost you 1 cent out of your own pocket. And as long as people are doing it, we can keep the live version of the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast commercial free. So thank you very much for those of you who have used our link on Amazon. And also, Tempest by Weatherflow. The revolutionary Tempest weather system also makes a great holiday gift. And it's yours. You'll be part of the person you give it to will be part of the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. The link for this tonight is pinned to the top of the chat board, and it's also on the descriptor to this podcast. And we strongly urge you to use a coupon code. Right, Joe Rayo?
Well, if you want that 10% discount off of anything you buy from Tempest, you need to know the coupon code, which is Autumn 2025, believe it or not.
And you could also tell them what they get for that coupon code.
As I said a few moments ago, if you would like that 10% off discount off of anything that you buy at Tempest,
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to buy some time so I can fix that graphic.
Oh, okay. Well, if you use the coupon code Autumn 2025, you'll get 10% off most anything that you purchase at.
You don't have to go that long. I'm almost done.
Oh, all right.
I'm sorry. I have a pattern of doing things when I'm doing my weather stuff during the day, and that includes setting up the pre-production, if you want to call it, of the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. So when I'm out of sorts, things get muffed up. But I'm almost done with this. Okay. Anyway, much of this week is really going to be quiet in one sense. These we have weather fronts that are going to be coming through every couple of days, but there isn't going to be a whole lot with them.
Right. In fact, the weather front number one, cold front number one, is now just entering northwestern Pennsylvania, western sections of New York State, and should be arriving here probably around 1 or 2 o'clock in the a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yay!
We're back on Standard Time.
Thank God for that.
Once we get that front through, we will go into a drier and also windier weather. What else is new? That's all it's been the last couple of weeks.
I honestly think, Joe, in a lot of ways, November is every bit as windy as March.
Yes, certainly a great month to fly your kite if you have a kite, and you certainly will be able to fly it tomorrow because I think winds will be gusting locally here in the lower Hudson Valley and probably through much of the tri-state area. Not strong enough for a wind advisory, but 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts tomorrow, and it should turn bright and sunny. We have to wait for this front to move through, let's say around, again, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Before it arrives, there'll be some shower activity. We'll show you that on the radar in just a very few moments. But tomorrow looks to be a day where it's going to turn bright and sunny, windy, but also temperatures tomorrow should get up close to, if not hit, 60 degrees. So it will be a lovely, lovely afternoon.
And the other thing is, I noticed a week from now, We could be in the throes of, well, it will definitely be the coldest air mass of the season so far if it materializes the way the models are showing. But it also might wind up being uh, the first lake effect snows for areas in upstate New York and northwestern Pennsylvania, maybe and into Ohio. It may also mean maybe some snowflakes for places other than the lakes in interior New York State and up into interior New England. So, kind of making progress on this day to day.
I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of snowflakes were to, appear right here in the lower Hudson Valley. I'm not saying for New York or Long Island yet, but it's going to be a vigorous uh, turn to the north and northwest weather-wise. Winds making for a blustery, if not bitter, type of day coming up for Veterans Day. Veterans Day looks to be a day where temperatures will be in the 30s, nighttime lows will be in the 20s, and
Mm.
you're absolutely right, Joe. Snow showers, squalls, first real lake effect snow threat of the season looks like coming our way for next week, a week from tomorrow.
Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board. Welcome to those of you who are in the background watching the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast on this Monday night. We're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. unless we take a day off like we did yesterday. Usually when we take days off, it's when the weather is really relatively calm. We hardly ever, unless it's some sort of an emergency for either one or both of us, we're always here on big storm days. And if they happen to be on a Friday and Saturday, we of course add shows and we will let you know. And of course, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn your notifications on, you certainly won't miss not only the shows that we do 5 days a week, but if we do add additional shows on a Friday and Saturday. So there's a good reason for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn your notifications on. And of course, if you like the show, hit the like button, and Steve Lapointe becomes the first tip jar hitter for the month of November. Thank you, Steve, for hitting Super Chat tonight. Most appreciated. And thank you also for the kind words. The weather front, Joe, that you speak of, and speak of so you spoke of it so eloquently. I have here on the 21Z surface map. And yes, thank God we're back to standard time because now, when the Europeans in earlier, the GFS is out earlier. Don't have to wait till, the ungodly hour of 11:30 a.m. Now it starts to come out at 10:30 a.m., which is good. But anyhow, here's what it looks like on the surface. And yeah, there's a weather front that at least at 5 o'clock this afternoon was running across western Lake Erie. It's sort of in between Lake Ontario and Lake Huron, running southwestward through Ohio and into southern Indiana, southern Illinois, and southern Missouri. There's also an offshore low that is out at about 38 and about 69 and a half ish. That is moving to the northeast, but we are seeing some moisture from this now. And we take a look at the satellite loop. Uh, one thing you can distinctly see here on the satellite loop what happens when you have a system in the northern stream and a system in the southern stream, and what happens when they don't phase. Because if the timing of this were a bit different, we could certainly would be dealing with maybe some sort of coastal storm system of one sort or another. But in this case, Joe, as you look, the offshore moisture has now slid out to the east, and now we're getting the northern upper trough. It'll eventually phase. It's just not going to phase anywhere here that's going to have along the east coast that's going to have any impact.
Well, it will have an indirect impact because they, as you just said, they will eventually phase. And when they do phase, we're going to have a storm system that will be intensifying, but off to our north and east. And as the storm intensifies or revs up during the day tomorrow, it's going to cause the pressure gradient to tighten. And that is going to be leading to the gusty winds that we're going to be seeing here, primarily in the midday and afternoon tomorrow. Again, not quite strong enough or significant enough for, I think, a wind advisory or a wind warning, but still a rather busy day tomorrow in terms of wind, with gusts probably going over 35 miles an hour. And again, with that gusty northwesterly breeze driving in a drier air mass. We're looking for skies to become mainly sunny tomorrow, in contrast to the cloud filled skies we had today. And we're also looking for temperatures, at least for tomorrow, rising to maybe up to near 60 degrees, and that's about 5 or 6 degrees milder than where it should be at this time of the year.
Most of the country actually enjoying some nice weather. We were cloudy up until early this afternoon here in North Georgia, and we were down in the upper 30s this morning because we had rain last night. Actually, it was quite heavy. I had to drive. I drove back from Marietta, which is about 100 miles, in total darkness with rain coming down pretty hard. So that was not exactly fun. Let's put it that way. A little bit of action going on in the west, but it's nothing, no big deal. You do have a rather strong flow of moisture coming into the Pacific Northwest, and we can see on the radar out in that part of the country, it's pretty loaded across Washington State into Oregon, and some of that moisture is extending eastward into Montana. And in the east, it's all in New England and Monsieur Rayo. Monsieur Rayo. Let me try this one more time. Monsieur Rayo is going to take you on a local radar tour at 7:46 p.m. Eastern Time.
Are you sure it's Monsieur or is it Monsieur? Monsieur Rayo.
Well, no, you have the Monsieurs and the Mademoiselles.
Oh, okay. All right. Mrs. Rayo had just made the comment a few moments ago that it
Bless
was
her
raining.
heart, by the way. Go
Yeah,
on.
yes. Well, it's raining steadily, according to her now, outside of our home base here in Putnam Valley, in Putnam County. And yeah, you could see on the radar that we do have, actually, it looks like bands of precipitation. It looks like the really heavy area crossing through the northwestern corner of Connecticut right now. And this area or these areas are all affiliated. Well, actually, you just mentioned the two separate systems. I'm presuming
Yeah,
that the
that's the
systems you
that's
see
the
in the
coastal low stuff that's off of eastern
right,
Long Island and southeast New England.
right. I presume that that is the coastal low. The association with the coastal low is on the right-hand side of your screen or the lower right-hand side of your screen, departing or moving away to the east. And this is the weather front or the approaching weather front that is going to be moving through, as I said, around the stroke of midnight or shortly thereafter tonight, already producing again some spotty precipitation. Uh, Nothing really widespread, but there are showers out there, and in a few places, as I noted in northwestern Connecticut, the precip looks like it's coming down more than just lightly. It could be a light to moderate rainfall. If we, in fact, go north, let's go to the Albany radar, and you can see here, let me just widen this out a little bit here. There you go. You can see that, again, it's coming in bands of precipitation. And here's one band moving now across western Massachusetts and into northwestern Connecticut. And there's another area that is draped, looks like, to the north and west of the Albany area, and that may be coming on down. Now, I just saw on the chat board somebody in Rochester reporting that they had thunderstorm or thunder shower activity. And it looks like what's coming off of Lake Ontario here, if you take a look, a little band of orange and red, so that could very well be convection that is occurring again out ahead of that approaching front. In fact, if we go to Buffalo, let's take a look at Buffalo here, and you can see, yeah, there's some localized areas of convection there, right there. That's probably the thunderstorm activity that, again, was reported on the chat board in and around the Rochester area. Here's Rochester, and you could see there was like a flash of red here. So, yeah, some of this activity, again, convective in nature. I don't think we're going to see any convection here in the immediate New York City metropolitan area, but in any case, you see all of this activity associated with that cold front, the front, as we pointed out, moving into. By the way, Joe, you said when you showed the 21Z map 5 p.m., you're still thinking daylight saving time.
Right,
21Z
4 p.m.
now
You're right. I
is
stand
4
corrected.
p.m. Yeah,
4
yeah.
4 p.m.
So it's moving. The front apparently right now, if you extrapolate from the 21Z map, because the 0Z is not ready yet, but I would assume that by now northwestern Pennsylvania and the western extremities of New York State is where the front is, and if it keeps on rolling, it'll be coming on through here again, probably shortly after midnight tonight. If we check out, let's go to Boston, and in Boston, you're seeing the effects of the coastal low pressure system. And actually, here's the coastal low retreating out to the east, affecting Cape Cod, the islands, and areas south and east of Boston. And this here is the approaching weather front, the approaching cold front coming in from the west. And you're right, Joe. I mean, they didn't interact, they did not join forces, at least not just yet, but they will later tonight and tomorrow. And that again will cause the winds to pick up and make for a rather gusty day out there. Gusty sunshine. Sounds like a rock group. But
Yes, it
that'll
does.
be the story for tomorrow in and around the tri state area, with again, temperatures climbing up toward 60 degrees.
Not a whole lot happening as far as watches and warnings are concerned. The wind for tomorrow is below wind advisory criteria. Not by much, but it is below. When usually 40 miles an hour plus is when they hoist the advisory. But we do have wind advisories up for the counties on the lee shores of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, and also for Maine and southeastern New Hampshire, eastern half of Massachusetts, down to Rhode Island. So wind advisories there. So they're going to catch the gradient. It's going to be a lot tighter up in northeastern New England. It'll be tight over areas in the northern mid-Atlantic states, but the gradient will be lessening as you go south. And meanwhile, there's hardly anything in terms of watches and warnings, at least with regards to rain or snow. We do have some wind issues also out in California, high wind watches and warnings, as well as wind advisories going up in that region with some of that. There's a storm off the coast of the Pacific that is exerting its influence on the Pacific Northwest. As far as rainfall is concerned, the next 7 days, and again, a lot of what you see for New England is what's going. Well, you've got tonight, and the next couple of weather fronts probably will bring more rain up in northern New England and northern New York, and that's really good news because of the fact that the drought there has been uh, pretty harsh, and it's been going on for quite a while. And at least in the last week to 10 days, we've seen a series of systems that have been quite wet. Some of the tropical moisture involved in the whole column of moisture that was Melissa streamed up into New England last week. So there was substantial rainfall amounts from that. So that's good news. And notice in the west, from California, northern California northward up to the western half of the states of Oregon and Washington and into British Columbia, we've got a very wide area of, I just give it a blanket, several to many inches. Many inches would be sort of like 8, 9, or 10 uh, in that area over the next 7, and some hefty precip amounts of up to 2 inches of liquid being indicated for the Northern Rockies and also extending up into the Canadian Rockies. So that's where all the precip action is. For the most part, the Gulf Coast is quiet. The Southeast is quiet. Areas in the Tennessee Valley are kind of on the edge of all of the moisture that you see up further north into the central and northern Appalachians. Generally, a quarter of an inch or less from Tennessee and North Georgia, southwest into Alabama and Mississippi, and a lot of areas in the Carolinas to Florida, and also from the lower and middle Mississippi River valleys westward and northward. Little or no precipitation over the next 7 days. So the upper air, very interesting with what's going on in the upper air. We've seen these troughs continue to drop into the east. As one pulls out, another one drops in. And the one that's currently moving through the northeast, and you see it here, is going to lift up and out. That ocean system is going to become a very deep low as it all phases. You can see that big blue area gets darker and darker near Newfoundland and beyond. More troughing comes into the east on Wednesday. It's a little bit of a broader trough, but there is a distinct short wave that's going to pass through sometime Wednesday night, and then that lifts out. And while that's happening, notice up around Greenland, there's a big upper high that's building westward from Scandinavia across Iceland and Greenland, and that eventually forces a vortex down into Hudson Bay. And this swings around early next week and creates a very deep trough and cutoff low that drops down into Pennsylvania and Virginia, interestingly enough. That's a very that's a real fairly decent shot of cold air. And in the setup, you'll notice that we've got a big ridge that's building northward up the Rockies and in the west. There's troughing off the west coast, but the you have a blocking high here that is settling over Greenland, so that's going to force colder air down, not just into the northeast, but all the way down into the southeast and even into Florida when we get to next Monday and beyond. It's going to take a couple of days for that trough to play through, and it does. A little bit of a backup trough behind it in the middle of next week, lifts out, and then we kind of go into a bit of a relaxed pattern before more traffic comes into the east in the longer term. So, Joe, we've had this. I've said this earlier. I've said this many times in the last couple of weeks. Since the last 10 days of August, we've been in a we've been in a pattern pretty much for the
A
last
very
two and a
progressive pattern.
well, and in the last 2.5 months, uh, this is unlike what we have seen in autumns of the last, let's say, 5 or 6 years. I mean, this is really different this time around. So, I mean, what that leads to, I can't tell you. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be like this when we get to December and January, but it is interesting to me that the autumn this year is coming in a way that is a hell of a lot different. I bet you if you counted the numbers that we had, I would say um, if you looked at the number of days where we had 70-degree plus highs from September to November, and do a comparison, uh, at least so far into this early November. Anyway, we're only into the third, but you will find that though the number of 70-degree day highs significantly lower. You want to call 80-degree highs because we saw those happen in past years in September and October. Far fewer. And maybe by the end of the month we could put the number through to 60-degree highs and see that. But I distinctly believe that this autumn has come in a lot differently than what we've seen in the last 5 or so years.
If we did have this pattern persist through the winter, I think what we would be looking at, for the most part, and I know a lot of people would be hoping that, we'd get, one of these northern shortwaves to coalesce or combine with a system coming up out of the Gulf states and create a massive, coastal winter storm. But if we were to have this pattern through the most of the upcoming winter, it looks to me like more like an Alberta Clipper type winter where we would get, you know, two maybe three times a week we get a shot of or renewal of colder air dragged along by an Alberta Clipper. And the question would be, how far south would the Clipper get? I mean, normally Clippers don't bring us very much, but on occasion you get one of these Clippers that really dive south and eastward and move off the mid-Atlantic coast. And when they get their feet wet, they intensify and bring us a quickie 5, 6, 8 inches of snow. That would be kind of a fun pattern to be in for any kind of winter season if you're a winter weather enthusiast. But again, as Joe just mentioned, there's no telling at this point in time what we're going to be seeing, whether or not the pattern persists even more than, let's say, 6 or 8 weeks beyond where it is right now. That's a question that is yet to be seen.
Yeah. And something like this now coming down in November would probably be a good it should be a dynamic enough mechanism to bring some lake effect snows early next week in upstate New York and in northwest Pennsylvania and Ohio, and also maybe some of the first snows, as we said earlier, for interior northern New England. And who knows? I mean, it certainly could be cold enough that you could wind up, you get the upper trough coming down. If it comes down this far south, maybe it will set off some low top snow showers that make it down to the coastline. I mean, it's got to happen eventually. So you have that. And when we take a look at the surface here, you'll notice too that there is, going forward here, we've just got this system moving out. high pressure down in South Carolina and Georgia. A warm up on Wednesday. It'll probably get breezy ahead of the next cold front that comes through Wednesday night into early Thursday. Maybe a shower with that, maybe not. Even that system, there's a little shot of cold air for upstate New York and interior New England. In fact, a little light blue shows up there up in northernmost New England with this low that goes into the Gulf of Maine and goes away. Then that goes out, and then here comes the next one for Friday night into Saturday. And with that, there might be a couple of showers late Friday night into Saturday morning. And then another diver. Here comes the diver with the cold air that comes down. And then, of course, you start to deal with that big trough in the east. So we'll have to see how this sets up. But you see how the European is picking up on some kind of upper trough there that breaks out some snow in Michigan and Ohio, and eventually into western New York and western Pennsylvania, and even into eastern PA and upstate New York. Very interesting that it does that. And the cold, by the way, I mean, I get down to almost a 525 thickness here in North Georgia. So this it verifies the cold air is going to go all the way down. And there will be widespread freezes with this. There are areas that have yet to get down. Most of the coastal areas have not really seen temperatures get down solidly below 32. If this verifies, this will take care of it and then some, and it'll bring freezes all the way down into the southeastern part of the United States. And then that goes out, and then a little warm front comes through, but no big storms here. I mean, you got action going on in the west, in the Pacific Northwest. There's a fairly strong arm of moisture that comes in, lead moisture tonight, and then another shot that comes in tomorrow night into Wednesday, and then a break, and then more coming in again on Thursday into Friday, and on it goes. So, kind of interesting here for early November, but no major storms setting up for the eastern part of the United States with this pattern, at least for now.
No, we're going to have, minimal amount of precipitation, I think, here in the lower Hudson Valley. We're getting a little bit right now. We may get another shot either Wednesday night or early Thursday. And then still yet another, because everything is moving so quickly, another chance for some precipitation when we get to the start of the weekend on Saturday. And then we wait for what may be coming our way on Veterans Day next Tuesday. And that, as we've just alluded to, Joe, that could be a really potent display of cold and wind, and yes, even perhaps some snow or flurry activity as far south as our area. Again, if we can get a strong enough wind, well, no question that there's going to be a lake effect occurring with that system on Tuesday of next week. But if we can get enough, of a strong wind, we could see that wind, that northwesterly wind, drive some of those snow showers and flurries all the way south, all the way into our area, and we may have the first sightings of snow. Not all that much. Not calling for for you to break out the snow shovels or anything, but the first sign of some flurries or some spotty precipitation, snow precipitation, that might happen in parts of the Hudson Valley a week from tomorrow. We'll see.
Okay. Um, who's got Briller Jeopardy?
I think I might. I will. In fact,
Well, you might, Rabbit. You might.
I think I do have it. So we'll go and take a look, see for it, and where are we? This was sent to me on October 27th. Really? Well, I'm
Well,
looking. No,
hold on.
this
Well,
no,
maybe
we did not.
well, I must
No,
have it then. Hold on a
yeah,
second.
you must have it. I know you have it because we already did this. Kansas City, Memphis.
Uh,
Bonus was Montreal.
yes, I have it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
Yep.
Um, okay, so we're still doing average yearly snowfall in these cities, and we'll start with Central Park, New York City.
That's varied. We've talked about the variations at New York City and Central Park. I think, I think based upon the latest 30-year normals, Joe, I think It's what, like 30.5 inches or something along those lines?
Yeah, that is 30 is the number. That is correct. I see a few people, including Monsieur Contino and Monsieur Fuller and
Yeah,
Mademoiselle Maggie P, all at the 30 for the high. Philadelphia, Philadelphia, which ain't
all
that
right.
far away from New York.
I'm going to say uh, I have two numbers rolling around in my head, 24 and 25. I'll say 24.
Uh, you were right to go lower, but you needed to go just teensy bit lower, itsy bit lower. Joe, Tom Contino and Bobby Livingworth and Frank Scalera uh, hit. They got it at 23.
Yeah, righty.
23.
Voila.
Um, Oklahoma City.
Uh, what possibly could Oklahoma City be?
Oklahoma City.
All right. I will say Oklahoma City. I will say 11.
Yeah, that's too high. That is too high. Rothmansky, Rich Rothmansky, 7. 7, Joe. 7.
There you go.
The Steel City, Pittsburgh. These are average yearly snowfalls, folks. Pittsburgh.
Uh, Pittsburgh. Well, what did we say for Philly? We said 23 for Philly, right?
23 for Philly.
See, now Pittsburgh, you would think would be colder, but it may not be quite as moist.
But there's also lake stuff you have to consider too. So
Yeah, that too. All right. So I don't know, 35.
not high enough, Joe. Frank Scalera is the winner tonight, with a few of you runnering up, just one under or one over. 44, double fours for Pittsburgh. Rochester, New York.
Well, Rochester is another major lake effect city, and I know we had for Buffalo we had like 95. I don't think, but I don't think that Rochester is quite that high. They're high, but they're not 95-ish. I'll say I'll say 80.
Okay, that is way too low, first of all. Second of all, everybody on the chat board, you're all either way too low or only one person is somewhat low, and that's Rich Rothmansky at 98. Okay, and
So
and
you're telling me that Rochester gets more snow than Buffalo?
yeah, according to this,
Well,
well, remember it's also it's the whole season, so some of that's lake effect and some of that's non-lake effect.
that could be synoptic. Yeah, yeah. All right. I'm just surprised. I didn't think it was as high as Buffalo. I'm
Chuck
seeing
Car-
numbers like with Joe
Chuck
Gaffney has
Cardillo is
115.
Chuck Cardillo is so close. It's of course he gets the same amount there where he is in the Catskills. Chuck Cardillo at 101 is very close. So is Bobby Livingsworth. And Mike Waterhouse Bonsai gets it, 102. William Uber also 102. And David Fuller 102. I drew everybody a diagram, for God's sakes. How could you not get it? 102. Finally, Staff Flag, Arizona.
Oh, Flagstaff. Well,
Or Stag Flag. Stag Flag. Flagstaff, yes.
oh dear, Flagstaff can get a hell of a lot of snow. Sorry about using that word, but uh, God, what could Flagstaff be? I'm not going to say
Bobby
102.
Livingsworth, you're not. Flagstaff's in the mountains. It's got a lot of, and it's 5,000 feet up. Okay, so that 11 is not going to hold.
Oh dear. How about 90?
Ring the bell for yourself. 90.
Really?
Yeah, then go play a lottery ticket.
I tell you, Flagstaff is a. I've told this story before. I'll tell it in a much shorter version. My wife and I visited Arizona in 1985 BC before children, and we got in a car and started north. I don't remember what the interstate is in Tucson, and it was like 97 degrees, and we had the air conditioning on high. It was blasting, and as we headed north, it gradually got cooler. We turned the air conditioner down. Eventually, we turned it off. We opened up the windows, and then when we got, up into the mountainous areas, up in northern sections of Arizona, we had to roll the windows back up. We had to turn the heat on. When we got to Flagstaff, Joe, it was not. It was raining, rain mixed with sleet. Again, we started out like 5, 6 hours earlier in 97-degree heat, and now here we are, 5, 6 hours later with sleet hitting the windshield, and temperatures were probably well down in the 40s.
Let
So
me ask you. By I just pulled this up. Was it Interstate 17? Does that
uh,
ring a bell?
it may ring a bell. I'm
So
not sure.
after you leave Phoenix, did you go through Anthem, Arizona, New River, Arizona, Black
Oh,
Canyon City, Arizona, where you could find Black Jacques Chalac? Um, how about Bumblebee, Arizona, Portis Lake, Spring Valley? I think every state has a Spring Valley. Flower Pot, Arizona. Did you pass Lake Montezuma?
Joe, you're asking me. I've been to Arizona more than once. I've been in there 3 times. Um,
Wasn't very memorable on the road trip, though.
I can tell you this. Yeah, it looks like I'm looking at a map here. It probably was interesting. We probably were on I-17 for a good long time, but I got to tell you something. When you're driving on that interstate, you're
Right,
looking just straight, and you could see like the road like leads all the way off into the distance up towards the
right. And it's
mountains
like
or
a
whatever.
straight line. Yeah, because I'm looking at
Yeah,
the map. It's like a straight line, really.
yeah.
There's hardly a curve to it.
It was quite a trip. And if you've never been to Arizona before, I strongly suggest you do it at least once in your life. We went through Sedona. Sedona is a is a very funny place. When we were traveling to get to Sedona, they have like a lot of curvy roads or whatever. We were on this one road, Joe, and we see a sign that says Sedona 100. I swear to you, we were on that road for like a half an hour. And after about 30, 40 minutes, we see another sign, Sedona 90.
Yeah,
Like, we're never going to get to this place.
right. 50 miles to Aunt Sally's pecan pralines.
Yes.
All right. On that note, David Fuller wanted to know how my fantasy football team. Actually, I'm 5-3, and I got two players tonight on Dallas that should give me my sixth win in nine. So uh, that game starts in literally 1 minute. So I'm going to go watch that. So everybody have a great night. Thanks for being here, and of course, Joe and I will be back tomorrow night at the usual time, 7:35 p.m. Eastern. Right, Joe?
We will be here. Good night, all.
Night, everybody.